All right, so you're here to see the installation procedure of the Java Development Kit and DrJava for doing Java programming. The version that we're going to be looking at is 1.8 of the JDK, because that's the best version that DrJava runs in. But if you're installing it in macOS, it's not as easy as installing it in Windows or even Linux, even though macOS is sort of based on a similar flavor of Linux. So the first thing we need to do before just going ahead and installing the JDK and running DrJava is to see if there are any existing versions of Java installed. Different installations of the Mac OS actually come with either the full Java Development Kit or the Java Runtime environment, or it could be over layers of upgrades. So your Mac OS might have started in version 10.1 and 10.2, and now you're up to version, I don't know what it would happen to be. And each flavor might get its own little installation as well. So each upgrade might be getting its own version of Java. So we need to make sure that we don't have any Javas installed. So there's a really simple way to do that. So there's a web page that just takes us right to the whole sequence of instructions that we need to follow. So let's see if we can open up that web page. There it is, how to uninstall from explainjava.com. There's the full address for it right there. So essentially it's pretty straightforward. It seems to be a lot of instructions, but really it just comes down to this right here, this one instruction that will remove them. But let's take a look and see what we have installed. So if you scroll down a bit before we start removing stuff, you can see which versions are installed. So let's open up a terminal window. So I'll go through the long way of opening up a terminal window. Let's see, utilities, and scroll down to terminal. There we go. So let's see if we can run that command. So let me just organize my windows here. I'm running it in a virtual machine, so it could be a little bit sticky. I don't have a real Mac. So let's see what we've got installed. So we do have, let's see, 3 actually. Let's do a long list to see what we've got installed here. So we've actually got 3 JDKs, 3 versions of Java installed on this computer. So Java 11, Java 12, and Java 18. None of these are compatible with DrJava. And if you're installing this for my course, we need Java 1.8 and a particular version of Java 1.8. So we need to get rid of these. We need to get rid of these versions. So we can remove each individual one. So to do that, it would be this instruction right here. So this would be removing each individual version, but we can remove all of them. So let's see if we can remove all of these guys. Oh, and just to quickly show you that it actually is using one of them. I think it's probably the most recent version. So we're going to check this command out after we do our full JDK install. Let's just see, yeah, so it's using version 1.8. So it's, or version 18, sorry, not 1.8, using version 18. Totally incompatible with what we need. So let's get rid of all of these guys. So the command will be sudo rmf library Java virtual machines. Type in my password, and now if I do the same list that we did before, there are no, it just doesn't exist. There are no Java virtual machines. So if we try, I wonder if we actually try and do this. Yeah, so there is no Java version installed. So that's the first thing that we need to do, is just to make sure that we've got all the versions of Java that don't really work for us. They're all completely gone. So now we need to install, or at least download the versions of the JDK and DrJava that we need. So I've got those I've got those bookmarked as well. So the first thing to do is actually go ahead and find the version of Java. So if you're going for my course, it will be on the Moodle page. So I've got a direct link to the proper JDK for macOS. But if you're doing it from Oracle, so it's the full crazy thing. I think if you're watching it on YouTube, I'll probably post it into the description. So the version that we want, though, the specific version of JDK 8 that we want is 261. So we'll need to scroll down. So that's revision 321, as you can see there. So we're going to have to just keep going until we find 261. So that's 281, 271. Let's keep going until we find 261. There's 261. So the reason that we need this specific version of the JDK is that it's the best one that DrJava works in. I think it probably works in all versions of 1.8, but I have seen incompatibilities with versions 271, 281, and later, and even some earlier ones don't seem to work just well. But the 261 works perfectly. So we'll scroll down, and you can see that we've got a link for it right there. So you just need to click on the link and say, yes, you've reviewed the agreement policy, you're a student, so of course, and then you click the button. Now, when you do this, make sure that you're saving it to a location that you know. So I usually toss it into my downloads folder. But to download anything from Oracle, you will need a username and password. So I think as soon as you click on that, if you don't have one, it'll ask you to create one. So by all means, go ahead and create one. You'll use it later, probably, if you're upgrading to a new version of Java. But once it downloads, doesn't take too long, you're good to go. So I'm going to cancel it because I've already downloaded it. So let's take a look and see where it actually is. So if we go to my downloads folder, there it is right there. So I've downloaded the DMG for that one. So I've already downloaded DrJava, as you can see here, but where do you get DrJava as well? So we've got the JDK, the Java development environment. If we go over here to DrJava, that's just taking us right to drjava.org, and all we need to do is click right here where it says download jar file. So we grab the jar file, and we're going to grab it from a repository site, and there it should be, grabbing it all nice and neat. Yeah, there it is. So in my case, it's prompting me, so I'm going to save it. Now, this is the version that you do want as well. So it's the DrJava beta 2019-08-13, so August 13th version. Again, we're trying to get the mix and match of JDK and DrJava. So that's the version, and it's, I think, the most recent one. I don't think we've updated past this. So getting that right version is perfect. So as you see, we've got both of these now downloaded. Now, we're ready to do the installation. So let me see if I can close down some of the stuff we don't need. So there we go. So doing the install, just double click on the DMG file and double click on the package file, and then just go through the motions. And nothing too unpredictable. So I'm going to type in my password, and there it goes. So right now what's happening is that the Java development kit is being expanded and being installed in the right places. It's recognizing the version of macOS that I've got installed, and it's integrating itself properly. So it looks like it's properly installed. So now I want to keep that one. So we'll keep the installer. You never know, I might need to reinstall it again. So how do we know that it's installed? How do we know it's even there? Well, those same commands that we checked before that let us see what was installed and what wasn't, we can run them again. So the first one was looking to see which version is actually sort of installed from a file point of view. So let's see if I can remember what that full path was. And there you can see that we've got JDK 1.8. we deleted those other 3 versions, which I think were 11 and 12 and 18. They're all gone. So now let's check to see which version is installed. We've got version 1.8. That's literally the whole process. Now DrJava is fully installed. One more command that we can run is to see, just to verify the compiler is installed right and it's the right version. Later on, as we're talking about Java, you'll understand what the difference is between the compiler and what we call the runtime version. But they're both the same version, and it's 2.6.1, as you can tell from the end of the revision number. So now we're ready to actually run DrJava. That's all we need to do. So let me close down this window. You can see we've got that thing up there, the little icon. But what I really want to do is copy DrJava from my download folder. I'm not moving it, I'm copying it, and I'm going to paste it right to my desktop. And the reason that I'm doing this is DrJava doesn't actually get installed. It literally is a Java program in itself. So the program that we're going to be using to write our Java software is actually a Java application. It's Java software as well. So the reason I've copied it is so I can keep my original copy, just like the DMG, the packager. I've kept it. I didn't move it to trash, just in case I need to reinstall it. It happens occasionally where you have to, so I've kept both of them. So let me close down that. So let's right-click on it and open with Java Launcher. And here we're going to say, yes, we want to open it. It takes a minute or so to get confirmed. There we go. And you can see down at the bottom we've got a Java icon. And that just means that the Java runtime environment is actually running. Because as I said, DrJava is a Java program. So we have to have the full Java runtime environment running. So as far as you're concerned, if you get to this point, congratulations, you've got the JDK installed and you've got the Java development environment. So DrJava running as well. So a couple of things to really confirm though. Let's carry on. First thing is to verify the compiler. So you can see down here at the bottom, we've got compiler. So in our little compiler tab, it looks like there's 2 versions of Java available, but there really is not. There is only one, and that's the version 2.6.1 that we installed. The Java 2.2.2, that revision, is a false revision. It's actually the revision that DrJava was created in, and for some reason, it's sticking around in this version. I think it's a bug within DrJava when it got written. This should not be there, but it is, and if you accidentally click on that version, things won't work right. If anything, you won't be able to actually write your software. It just won't work in the way that we expect. So make sure that you've got it as 2.6.1. And you can see here we've got that version of Java actually running. Perfect. And you can see that it's referencing library Java, Java virtual machines, JDK 1.8, which is exactly where we wanted it to be. So that's perfect. So let me close this guy up. Yes, I want to close this down. And now, if we double click on DrJava, it should remember, so macOS should remember that it was a legitimate program, and there we go. So it's up and running. So let's actually write the simplest little Java program we can, which is Hello World. So what we're going to do is we're going to just write the program, we'll save it, we'll compile it, and we'll run it. We'll do all the basic steps. But the first thing I need to do is configure DrJava the way, well, I want it, but the way it really should be configured. So if we go over here to Edit, the Edit menu at the top, we'll go to Preferences. First things we need to do is show all our line numbers, and you can see that we've got Show Line Numbers turned on. So make sure you've got a check mark there for your line numbers. For your fonts, if you take the default, you should be okay. But the best font, at least for macOS that I've used before, is actually called monospaced. It's the best font. If it's already set to monospace, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Then we'll click on down to miscellaneous and make sure that your indent level is either 4 or 5. 5 is the preference. It seems to be the most common indent level for Java. And I'll show you what I mean by indent level. But I think if you're doing a fresh install, it might be set to 2. If it is set to 2 or any other number, just make sure you set it to 5. So, and then you're good to go. There's not much else to do. If you want to play on your own, if you go into display options, there are some additional features. You can change the look and feel, the plastic theme, you can change the colors. And what this does is it changes how it looks. So if you like a black background or if you like a different color system, have fun and go ahead and play with it. I think some of the features, if you change them, you need to close DrJava and open it back up again. But I've changed my, let's see, I've got my line numbers, I've got my, my indent level, and we're good to go. So click on apply and OK. So let's go ahead and write our first program. First things I like to do is either write in a couple of lines of code, but what I'm going to do is actually go up to File and click on Save As. You can also click on the Save button, which is in the sort of in the title or in the I guess title bar, if you will. But I'm going to go to File and Save As. So I've already created a folder called Java Playing. So that folder is right in my document. So if you open it up and you go to Documents, I recommend that you create a brand new folder, which you can create here. Call it Java Coding, Java Programming, Java Playing, whatever you want to call it, and keep your software in there. So all the programs you can write, all the files you're going to create, rather than just putting them into documents, because then it gets mixed up with all your other documents that you're creating. If you're writing any letters, or you're creating any spreadsheets or presentations, or you've got graphic files, you don't want your Java programs getting mixed up. So clicking on New Folder, create a new folder, and then double click to go in there. So I've already got something called Java Playing, and I've already got a bunch of software that I've been playing with. So let's call this one Hello World. And I've already got a program in there called Hello World. So I'm going to overwrite it. And yes. So I'm going to start fresh. So for my Hello World program, just going to type it in. And let me pause for a moment before I continue, because we've got enough example of it. Every time I press enter, so I've just typed in the brace, that opening brace, and pressed enter, it automatically indented 5 spaces. That's what that indent level is for. So Java is it's a language that should look good. And that's one of the cases. We don't want it to just indent level 2. That's not enough. It just doesn't look right. But indent level of 4 or 5 gets us I guess, deep enough, if you will. So let's put in a single statement, which is going to display Hello World. And we'll put a closing brace, and you can see it just scooted back for the indent level, and it scooted back again. So this is a full program. And the reason that it's highlighting in sort of this cyan is because the cursor is on that last brace. If I move the cursor up here, you can see that it highlights just inside. So the highlight isn't really anything to do with the program. It's just DrJava as an integrated development environment, helping you out to understand what's coded and what isn't. And before we carry on, let me just point out why we even use an integrated development environment. Integrated meaning that you can both write your programs, run your programs, and test them all within this program called DrJava. And that's that integration. So it's a development environment. It's all together, and you're letting yourself just have a lot of fun, and it's a lot easier rather than using all the individual tools. So this one lets you do the writing, the compiling, the execution or the running. It lets you do the testing, everything you need to know. So let's see if I can compile it. So we'll go up here to the compile button, and it went ahead and compiled. Now, if you've just installed DrJava for the first time, it might come up and say, do you wish to save? And I think there's a checkbox which you can check to say, don't ask me again. Just go ahead and save it every time you do a compile. I've gone ahead and done that. So every time I hit compile, it automatically saves it and it does the compile. So what does it mean to actually do the compile? What's going on? Well, the compiling process is taking this Java code here, so these statements written in the Java language, and it's converting them into the executable form which the Java runtime environment will actually execute. So at this point, with the compilation completed, it means that this program is ready to be run. So we can go up here to the Run button, click on Run, and we can see down here at the bottom, it ran our program Hello World, and our program Hello World is displayed. So our program displays that output. If you change the program, so let's say Hello World once more, put an exclamation mark. If I try and run it at this point, it's going to tell me that there's the document itself, so our Java program is out of sync with the executable, and it's suggesting we recompile it. Well, I have changed the code, so I do need to recompile it. And now that it's compiled, I'll run it again, and you can see Hello World once more. So there, our program has changed. So there you go. At this point, not only have you installed your Java runtime environment, or sorry, your Java development kit, which has both the compiler and the runtime environment, you've actually gone ahead and installed, or at least run DrJava and run your first program, and everything's fine. So there we go. I'm going to close everything up. And so yes, go ahead and close it. And that's it. At this point, this is your personal computer. So if you close down macOS, you shut down your laptop or your computer, bring it back up, everything should be happy. And if you double click on DrJava, it should just come back up again. So one final thought though is, let me just see if I can minimize it. And there we go, bring it back up. Perfect. If you do see that it's not looking proper, take a look to see if you've got these three buttons, so the three window control buttons. They may be down at the bottom of the screen. Some versions of macOS, when DrJava is first installed, it runs minimized. So in that case, you just need to click on the green button to, I guess, make it maximum, and everything should be fine at that point. So if you run DrJava and it's not full screen, check to see if it's running in this sort of super minimized form. I wonder what that would look like. It would look something like that. So at that point, it would look like DrJava is not running, but it's actually there. So we'll just hit the green button and bring it back up. All right, that's a final thought. Have fun, and we'll, I don't know, see you in the next video, or we'll see you in class if you're one of my students. Have fun.